What's up, everyone? It's Matt Mrozik, aka MVM397, with a final work in progress update on the 172nd Sinanju from G System Shop. As you can see, he's pretty much done. So this is just a little preview before I'm all done. The only thing I'm lacking is the fuel pods, which I've had to strip and repaint, and those are in primer right now. We'll paint them in the next day or so. And the covers for these little guys right here, so those are drying right here right now. I just had to put the decals on and spray the top coat, so those will slide on over that later, which actually it looks kind of cool without them. You can see all the hand painted details I did, and these thrusters aren't glued in, they're just sitting there because you can't put the thrusters on first and then slide those things on top. So those covers have to go on and then the thrusters go in, so the thrusters actually just will hold those covers in, and if my client ever wants to display without the covers, he'll be able to do so. So the thrusters aren't glued in, but they're really nice thrusters. They got a nice little photo etch detail in the middle, and they're those kind of black oxide. Let me raise this up a little bit. So he's just about done. I've been touching up and doing, all that stuff as I go, fixing all my little mistakes, which I've had plenty. I keep screwing things up apparently, as you know. This kid's been kind of kicking my butt a little bit just because I've had so many errors that I've had to go back and fix, and just the stupid things I've done, like gotten glue on parts where there shouldn't be glue. I had that whole top coat issue, which I resolved by getting a whole new bottle of top coat and spraying everything again. But I'm really happy with this. As with all my kits, I'm never really happy until I kind of get it all together. So now this is the first time I've actually had them all together, with the exception of the fuel pods. Those are, like I said, have to be repainted. Hold on, my camera's not wanting to focus on him. Just wanted to focus on the background. There we go. But he's looking really good. So I'll just do a little pan down here. So here you have the backpack, and he's standing pretty good. Tony, the other guy on YouTube that's building this right now, I know he had some problems getting his to stand and balance. Tony, if you watch this, the one thing I did, and I mentioned this before, is I went through and I tightened up all the joints really tight, really, especially in the legs and the hip. And even though I tightened basically as tight as I could get, there still is some play in there, so I have to be careful. It's a balancing act. All these G System kits are really a balancing act to get them to stand on their own. You'll see a lot of guys who build these, they'll stick a rod up their crotch, and I hate the way that looks. I mean, these things can stand. And sorry, but my camera's a little crooked. I'm on top of a box, so that's why it looks like it's crooked. He's actually standing straight, but the thing that I have my camera on is crooked. They actually will stand on their own. It's just a balancing act between the shield and the gun. So if I take the shield off, he leans way to his right because he doesn't have anything to offset the weight. Once they put the shield on, he sits straight. I did end up I went ahead and glued the torso to the waist, so I can actually pick this whole thing. I could pick him up from the chest and he would not come apart. The only two parts that are really sketchy are the side skirts. They're really loose, so I always put those on last. I actually have a little bit of blue tack on each of them just to kind of hold them there. They like to slide off really easily. But yeah, he's looking good. As you can see, the finish is this is semi-matte by All Clad, which it's okay. I prefer flat, but my client didn't really want flat, and he didn't want glossy, so we went with this semi-matte. Here's a good angle right here, looking up at him. Boom. So just like I'll do a basic review of this kit too. Overall, it's pretty good. It's got the pre-built frame, which is okay. They're kind of, they look nice, but there's a guy on Facebook, John Fell, who follows me, and he posted a photo of a GPO 4 frame that he did, and he went to town on the frame, and he spent as much time on the frame as I have on this entire kit. And you can do that with these frames. You can just go nuts and spend 200 hours just on the frame with masking and getting all the details done. All the armor is glued on. The only armor that comes off are these side pods right here. So these can come off, and you can see all the details that I hand painted in there. Not that you'll ever see that unless you take these off, but it's there. So yeah, the frames you can go to town on. So It's really, especially with these kits, it's really just a bets to glue the armor on, because it's a wonky fit as it is, and to make it removable is a nightmare. It's just really tough. It can be done. I've seen guys that do it, but how often are you going to take the armor off and show with the armor off anyway? So for my kits, I never detail the frames anyway. Here I'm just getting dust off as I go, because I never display the armor off. Now this thing has so much top coat on it. It's been top coat like 3 times that I've been getting scuff marks, but they actually just wipe away with the brush, and it's just like the top coat kind of getting marred a little bit. And like, oh crap, there's another scratch, but actually it just kind of brushes away, because there's actually like 3 applications of top coat on this thing as I was trying to fix the finish. So there is a lot of protection to the paint. So I really haven't scratched any paint. I've just marked the top coat a few times here and there. The shield's looking really sharp. Love the way that turned out. Looks great. I love the gold trim. The decals look great. I do have a guy on YouTube that follows me who has offered us, he has a duplicate decals for his kit. So I need to send him a note, because once I get the fuel pods painted, all I have to do is put decals on and this guy's done. So I need to send him a note and see if he's sent those in the mail yet, because I'll be waiting on those. As obviously the fuel tanks go there, and I've had my little snafu with the magnets, and I fixed both those spots, so they're identical now. So yeah, he's looking really good. I'm not gonna spend too much time on him, because you guys seen a ton of videos of this, but all those were masked and painted off in there. So since you're gonna see those, I want to make those look good. And those do look nice, those little panels. The thruster, I really like the thrusters that they give you for this kit. Yeah, so he is, I mean, he's semi-posable. The arms move pretty easily, the legs do move to a point. Once you get the armor on there, the legs are tough to move. They do try to give you some mobility, like the knee joint's the hardest part, the double joint. And G-System does try to give you some, like, I guess master grade features where these knee armors kind of move around when you bend the knee, but the tricky part of it doesn't work as good as like a plastic Bandai kit. This is resin. It's not meant to be played with. The thing is very heavy, probably weighs a good 6 or 7 pounds. It was tricky getting the leg armors on, because you have to get, let me zoom in here a little bit. So when you're doing the leg armors, you have to get the sides on, and then you have to make sure that they're glued on in a way that when the knee is flexed, that all this trim lines up. So I used a thick, just a thick CA that dried really slow, and I just kind of dry fitted this kneecap in there. And once I got that happy, I was able to move these armors around, just hold them in place till I got it to fit. And I'm really happy with how those line up. They line up really good. I was kind of afraid that I wouldn't be able to get those to line up decently, but I'm real happy with how they look. And again, sorry, my camera's crooked. He's not crooked, my camera's crooked. The other guy on Tony on YouTube that was doing this, at first I had not sanded or filed the bottom of this piece right here, but it was doing a lot of rubbing on the skirts and this part, so I did go in there and I did file that down quite a bit. And now the skirts fit much better, and there's no rubbing on this crotch piece. So a good tip there from Tony to do that. At first it wasn't happening, but as I kind of put things together, I was getting a lot, as the weight kept, being put on the kit, I was getting quite a bit of rubbing on the skirts there. So I went ahead and filed the bottom of that and took care of it. The battery is under here, and this does pop off relatively easy. Again, the wiring and the switch that G-System shop gives you is absolute crap. It's hard to get the button to stay on. So the way this works is, you can see it's on right now, the head just pops off like so, and there's a button that's like down in the neck, and you have to push that with like a Q-tip or something. You can't get your finger down there and turn it on. Once it's turned on, you can put the head back on and the LED lights up. So it works pretty good. The head is another little area I have some concerns about. You can probably see that this is not all completely lined up. After some heating and bending and stuff, I've got it as close as I can. What it really is that this face plate, the way it's molded, is actually molded crooked. So I took basically all the alignment pegs out, because if I use the alignment pegs, it was like twice as bad as it is now. Took all those out, heated and bent the face frame a little bit, and got it lined up as best I could. But that's one of the little gripes about this kit. Now, as far as the rest of the kits, it fits pretty good. The armor fits really pretty well. A tough area is the top thigh armor here, and this one fit really good after I heated and everything. This one was still a little wonky, and I got a teeny tiny gap, but it's really, once you get all the stuff on, you really don't notice it, so I'm not too worried about it. You know, it's just go slow, take your time. Even though I was really kind of moving slow in this kit, I just kept screwing up. I don't know what it is. Sometimes you have a kit that just things just don't want to work for you, and this is kind of one of those kits. So it's just having the persistence to go back and it's like, oh shit, you can always fix stuff. If you screw up, you can always go back and fix it. There's been a few times I wanted to throw a kit against the wall, or the other night I was putting this guy together and he fell over. The whole thing fell backwards. I'm like, oh my god, I was so freaked out. And there actually wasn't any damage. The only damage that happened, none of the paint got, like I said, the top coat got scuffed a little bit and I was able to brush away. The only thing that really happened was that one of these connection pegs broke off and I just glued it back on, because I was playing with the fuel pods. But yeah, he fell over completely the other night when I was working on kind of fitting things together. I got a little scuff here I got to touch up, and as I work around the kit I do see little spots here and there I need to brush touch. You can't see it, but underneath these, the paneling has been masked off and painted, and you can kind of see my two-tone color scheme here. I think the color scheme will show up better in the photos. Here you can see the two-tone. It's a slight difference. It's not drastic, but it is a nice two-tone color scheme. As I said, this is a semi-matte finish. Personally, I would go with something a little flatter. Alclad does make a matte, which I like. It's probably one step flatter than this. It's not dead flat, but it's a little bit flatter. So now the bazooka right here can fit in the shield, but then it sticks way out. So if I put this in the shield, I got to turn it, and I got a real nice strong earth magnet in there, and it just pressure fits in there really nicely. And it just kind of, now if I have to back out, it just kind of sets on the floor like that. So if you can display it with the bazooka on there, and then you can also I'm not going to take the gun out of his hand. I actually built a peg to peg into the gun out of the claw plate, and it's actually in there really well. But as I demonstrated earlier, the gun can come out, and I've got two magnets here and here, and the gun will just snap into place. And actually, I could probably try to do it now, but you can have them hold the rifle and the bazooka together as one weapon, and that looks pretty impressive. He does have a spot on the back to hold the weapon right here. Oh, I gotta move up. Right here. And the bazooka can kind of fit in there. It's a tight fit, but I think it's really meant to hold the rifle. So you can put the rifle in there, and then you can just have the bazooka mounted. He does have a beam saber and stuff, which I haven't painted. It's clear green resin, and I'll clean those up and I'll paint them. But I probably won't do any photos with those in his hands and stuff, because if the client wants to do that, I'll let him play with those features. But yeah, so this is the last work in progress. So it's more of an update. Like I said, the only thing I'm lacking are the fuel pods. I got to get those painted and decaled. And once these pieces over here to the right are dry with the top coat, those are done. But so this is work in progress number 13 on this guy. I initially started him back in July of last year, and I did some test fitting on him then. Put him away for a while, did a few figures, came back, worked on him again, and I really went hardcore on him probably starting in November, where I just put in a ton of hours. The holidays was where I put in the most hours, all that prep work and everything, but all that time beforehand was just spent cleaning gates and stuff. I do really like how the rifle turned out. Give you a lot of nice metal detail parts. I went a little away from the standard color scheme, and I painted this little thing blue, add some gold detail and then chrome on the back. painted this little sensor chrome red or candy red, and this is actually there's a lens on there. It's been painted clear green, and there's some details underneath there you can see better in person. But I always like an angle looking up at these guys because they look really kind of menacing. So when I shoot photos, I usually do it from a lower angle, you know, kind of like as if you were that person on the ground looking up at them, because it just looks really cool. But there he is. It's a long video of me yapping about this guy, but here it is, G-System 1/72 Sinanju, 99.9% complete. I probably have to say hours. I probably like 2 or 3 more hours and he's completely done. But as always, thanks for watching. Thanks for following me along on this build. It's been long. It's been some headaches, but in the end, he looks really good, and I hope my client likes him. It's Matt Mrozik, aka MVM3897, signing off. See you guys later.